Why are you up?
Because I got some important shit going on here. What do you think?
Boom, the world class.
Used to be in the barracks drinking that stuff like it was going out.
Oh yeah, you know that we got that off of E40, top of the line.
Top of the line wine.
With your pinky up.
That's that top of the line wine.
And you get a gallon of that shit for like $5. We used to be on that burgundy.
Dudes used to drink that shit. They was going up in the parking lot, and then the SPs come by asking us what's going on. It was like, nah, we'll get them upstairs.
Nah, you know, I used to sneak that shit in. I used to put in Gatorade bottles. I used to be at work drunk as fuck when I was in the military. I'm talking about loaded. Then they somebody ended up snitching. They start checking everybody Gatorades after that. I used to be in that bitch lit.
Yeah,
I've been working on the aircraft, fall asleep and shit.
Be like, man, that smell like wine nose. Uh-oh, we lost sound. Somebody got an Android?
No, I was.
Wait a minute. Did your iPhone just connect? What are we talking about?
They just I think they tried to update the app, and StreamYard is acting up on the iPhone right now.
And I was gonna say, and Lucki in the comments, and Lucki, your iPhone still ain't connected on here. What we talking about?
I'm on an Android. I'm on an Android.
Me too.
All right. I think we in that part of the because I did have like two things I want to bring up, but Lucki just sent this shit with Candance, awkward looking soft. She make me sick. Like, she's not ugly, but she makes me like, her face is weird. She is like a little cute.
Who, Candance Owens?
I love Candance Owens.
Don't start, y'all.
You said Candance Owens?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah, she's like what women say about dudes. Like, she'll talk herself out the dick. Like, shut up.
Wow.
The way you explain that one.
You could ask me about my work. Why would we do that?
Like, it's not many women that I can literally say that can talk themselves out the dick, but you will definitely, like, I'll drop that bitch off at home. Go home.
I wasn't ready. That's not the thing I was expecting to hear at this point. She'll talk herself out the dick. That's crazy.
You're going to put her on dick restriction. That's a shame.
Oh my God. All right, hold up. I'm going to play it real quick and see if y'all can hear her voice. Her voice makes me want to push a child.
If I was a man, and I'm not a man, but if I was a man, I wouldn't hire a woman. I wouldn't do it.
See, can y'all hear that?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Let me just play it like that instead of bringing it up, because I'm going to just tolerate her face. I'll take the bullet. She's not ugly. I just don't like her face. I don't want her to be right there.
I'm not a man, but if I was a man, I wouldn't hire a woman. I wouldn't do it. And I say it all the time, and I say that, and that is something that women need to consider when they're talking about this stuff. When you are saying that a man complimenting you, saying, I really like your outfit today, is a form of sexism. If you're a man, why hire a woman? Right? So you fought all this time to be able to get into the workforce, only to say these are going to be the rules. You know, if you say anything, even if you compliment me, if you look at me, anything, I'm going to have a reason to fight you. And by the way, you're going to want to settle and pay me, because even just the stain of an accusation is enough to ruin men. So if you're a guy, right, in this society, in this Me Too environment, in this litigation rich environment of misogyny and sexism and all these claims, what is the value add? What's the risk? You know, the benefit and the risk. I can't do the analysis and say, I'd just be like, no, I'm sorry, give me all the men.
So what she's saying is, what is the risk-reward ratio?
I was going to say, first of all, dumb bitch, it's risk-reward that you're reaching for so very, very tough. Second of all, what I can't stand about her, she doesn't have an original thought in her fucking head. I literally just heard a fucking white man say this shit a couple of days ago. There's literally not a fucking original thought in her head. Everything she says is a fucking talking point for white people.
Yeah.
And I can agree with that.
You muted Thanos.
Lucki, that was my point. I wouldn't be coming for Candance at all.
You probably talking to me because
those talking points that lead you to great success. I'm telling you.
No, that's the no Thanos. I understand where she's coming from and I get it. My problem is, again, she doesn't have an original thought in her head. That's why we know she's a paid for whore. Like they just pay her to spit out. You know, she's basically like a what do you call them? A ventriloquist dog. I don't know what they call the dog, but like they basically tell this bitch what to say, and she goes on platforms and say it, and she's a blackface for their message. That's all it is. She's a half decent looking ass black broad that pushes their points out. That's all she is.
That's a better way to
that hurts my heart. Tommy, to hear you say that.
I'm saying, like, tell me the original thought that she's ever said. Everything she says is regurgitated from somebody else.
I mean, but if it's positive and it makes sense, I mean, I don't mind if you spread that type of message. I mean,
but when are we going to hear an original thought? See, this is my thing. Everything that you say can't 100% line up with one side. That's when I know that you're just bought and paid for. Ain't nobody 100% conservative. So how do you never say anything liberal ever? You're fucking, and mind you, you don't come from as far liberal as she was to as far right as she is. Now, she went from like a super leftist to say like a more moderate or something like that. Okay, I could give you that. But there's no fucking way in the world you go from extreme left to extreme right. It ain't possible. Period.
I mean, I kind of did the same thing coming up. That's the only reason I understand that. And being so, working in the DMV, most of these liberals really live like conservatives. They just not going to lose their voters by actually saying it out loud.
No, but I'm saying, was you extreme left or was you just left? Like,
no, like I was left because, we were taught, you always,
but that's what I'm saying. No. She pushed like that extreme left line. Like, this is the same broad that literally had a case with the NAACP over some shit, and then literally comes out now talking about I don't see any race or there is no racism or something. Like, what are you talking about, you goofy bitch? You're already on record for fouling something about this. Like, what are we talking about? It's the same thing like with Lil Wayne goofy ass. I don't know nothing about racism. You dumb motherfucker. You literally the one that made Georgia Bush. That's your song, you dumb fuck. That's literally about racism.
I think they waking up more and noticing that it's more about classism than anything else. Because I'm telling you, I see that as a problem.
But I agree.
I mean, I know racism exists.
I have conservative thoughts and I have liberal thoughts. Most people are in the middle. The problem with you being a moderate is you don't make money. The only time you make money in this industry is if you're far left or far right, period. So anybody that I hear that's far right or far left, I know there's something that may be naturally far left or far right. That's one thing. But especially if you look at her bank account, you literally can see a shift from her going from left to right. There's literally a shift there. The Hodge twins, exact same thing. When they jumped into politics and did that far right shit, their bank account changed. That's where the
money is in. But we were always conservative. I don't even know when black people got on this.
No, I agree with you. But like I said, though, it's like, okay, I don't agree with taxes. That puts me in the conservative boat. I don't give a fuck about weed. That puts me on the liberal side. You see what I'm saying? Like, nobody's 100% either way. So when I hear somebody and the only thing they spit out is conservative, it's like, all right, come on, dog. Like, what are we doing here?
So you should say. So you saying you should. Now go ahead,
I was gonna say, can we talk about the message though?
Mm-hmm. Well, I was gonna say that.
Like I said, I agree with the message. I think women put themselves in an interesting position because, like most things, I think the original fight was a good fight because you did have a lot of these dudes that was wilding the fuck out. I saw it firsthand. I'm sure you did too, Thanos, in the military, where motherfuckers has literally lost their fucking mind using their power to make chicks do shit, all kind of shit. So I think the fight originally was a good fight. I think once they abused it, then you do put men in a position to go, why the fuck am I going to take the risk of hiring you when I can hire this dude and I ain't got to worry about that shit? Because you taking a inherent risk on hiring any female, because if a nigga say hello to her the wrong way, boom, she can have a lawsuit against you. Just like that.
Yeah, now they placing them in positions because of that reason. So that has leaked into the military heavy to where they're trying to make it, you know, commercialized or like the private industry. And it's just destroying the whole military infrastructure because, you know, military bearing is out the window. You kind of scared to, you know, readjust the female soldier, airman, whatever, because she can make a complaint against you. So it's like, yeah, I'm telling you the right thing, but I got to have the door open with 3 other females in the room.
Yeah, but they kind of put themselves like I said, they put themselves in that situation because I've seen so many, and to be honest with you, I told people when the Me Too movement came out, if that shit ever hits the military, we won't have a military. Because them niggas. Okay, I'm gonna tell y'all a story. I had an ex-girlfriend, right? Me and her was dating, and then we ended up getting stationed at 2 different places. She got stationed in Virginia. Her very first day on the boat, her supervisor, or it'll be her E4, walked up to her and pretty much just said, "When you gonna let me eat the pussy?" That was it. It was no kind of spin game, no kind of can I get a date, flat out straight like that. And literally, I've heard this story from multiple women in the military. But they had me looking at niggas like, yo, y'all tripping. And you got to remember, I'm just coming in out of boot camp. Ain't nobody listening to me. This motherfucker been stationed here for 3-4 years. He got friends all through here. Who they gonna listen to? No, that shit was cold. I'm telling you, the amount of, anytime a woman asks me, should I go? I say, hell no. I tell them straight up, fuck no. Because them niggas is wild in there. I mean, wild. That's why that story that happened in Fort Bragg wasn't no surprise to me with the little Mexican shit. I think she was Mexican. That shit was no surprise to me. Motherfuckers just ignored everything she said, all that shit.
Fort Hood.
Yeah, I mean, Fort Hood, yeah. Like, that shit was no surprise to me. I had another homegirl that, before she joined, she used to strip. Somehow that information got out. And this senior chief had asked her to come through. Now, mind you, our command master chief was a dyke because the very first time she had sex, the dude gave her herpes. So she didn't even like dudes like that, right? So she goes into the senior chief's office. This is a guy, right? The guy pretty much closed the door and asked her how much it's going to cost for me to get a dance. She's sitting there like she's so mad that she got tears coming out of her mind because she want to fire on the nigga. She's from New York, so you know she get in. So she like so mad she want to fire on the dude. She leaves and goes up the chain of command like she's supposed to. We all thinking this dude is fried because our command master chief is like this dyke woman who pretty much, you know, don't like dudes. They go in the office. They call the dude in there. Did you say this? Yep. Okay, we'll handle it. Ain't shit happened to the nigga. Like, just wild shit, bro. Like, the mystery is cold as fuck. But even like the stories we started to hear about in Hollywood, which we all knew was going on, but started to get exposed where these motherfuckers just whipping their dick out in front of these chicks. Like, all that weird ass shit. Like, the movement had a purpose because, like I said, dudes was wild. It's just so many women started abusing that shit that, I mean, what she said was kind of right.
Got it. Got Tommy B agreeing with Candance Owens. What?
Not technically, no, because that ain't her original point.
Hey, I'm not a fan of Candance either, but she gets some things right. She got family households right. One of the biggest problems in the Black community is fatherlessness. She right about that shit.
No, but see this is what they do though, Dallas, is they because it's no different than what's his name that be trolling over here that annoys the fuck out of everybody? The ugly black nigga.
Charleston White?
No, I'm talking about that being in this space.
Charleston White.
What's his fucking name?
Bang.
Chaotic Truth. He does it. So what he does is he sprinkles some common sense shit in with the bullshit. And then so people can go, oh, well, they're kind of right about this. It's the same technique. Who the fuck don't know that our household's been fucked up? That's common. She ain't. That's not mind-blowing information. But if she drops that, it forces you to go, oh, well, she's right about that. Tell me some shit that I ain't never thought about. That's what I mean, like an original thought.
I feel you on that part, but just because you don't like somebody or just because there's whatever underlying issue, even if all your, okay, let me say this, especially where men are today and where women are today with this whole equality fight and everything else, if a woman, if she is being fed these ideas by men, is that not what men have typically wanted?
No, I think you misunderstand what I'm saying. So basically, because it's, see, the parts where I agree with her on is shit that's common sense shit. So like this, what she just said right now, to me, it's pretty common sense. It's not, that wasn't mind blowing when I heard it. But she said like what you just said.
Common though.
That's not.
So
But it's not
people
common sense. But it's not common
but
sense
most
to
people
women.
don't understand it. Most people
It's
don't
not
understand.
common sense to women because that's
Well,
not a favorable argument with amongst a group of women.
I do agree with you on that one. And again, she can't just completely just come out and just be shitting on the black. She got to have some other type of message. You understand what I'm saying? But what I'm saying is, when she does her dirty work, that's their ace in a hole. And I say that because when I speak to some of my conservative white friends, who's the first motherfucker they bring up? That bitch. Every fucking time. Every time. What about
Because they
Chicago?
think you
Hey,
resonate
Candance
with
Owens
her.
said this. Man, don't talk that. Don't talk about
Yeah,
that.
but who else black is doing that though? Like it ain't too many people standing up. You see what happened when you try to stand up for anything, i.e. Kanye, i.e. Kyrie Irving. They're gonna humble you quick unless you really ready to lose everything.
But you know what? That's the problem I have with our community is that we don't realize how much power they got because what they doing to Kyrie right now, if every person of color walked off a basketball court, off a football field, they'll shut that entire industry down overnight. Overnight.
But
we don't realize how much power we have. They're not going to do it because we only think about the singular I and right now. We don't think about us as a unit. We don't think about us as a collective. And we don't think about how our decisions today are going to impact our children or our grandchildren. That's a big problem.
Amen. Yeah. And that's what it's going to take. And so that's why I was like, it don't necessarily need to be original message because people at least need to get that part first that she is saying. Then we can go to creating new ideas once we master ABC. But like World Class said, a couple months ago, and I was talking with him, was that, man, we're going to have to destroy all the way down to the foundation. We're going to have to leave some behind and build new because you can't keep building on top of this bad crack foundation called the black community.
Shit, we building on this bad crack foundation called America.
That's a good point.
Amen.
I think anything in life you're gonna have to get in what you fit in. I just want some sort of movement. Like we just stuck.
No, I feel you on that.
But we just stuck.
Hey, don't say that too loudly, because that's the problem. You say that to the wrong end. Well, most of us in our community that get in where you fit in is always trying to fit in at somebody else's table and never trying to build your own.
Yeah. We don't have, I've said this, I think on the last live, like our problem is we're not picking the system. We keep trying to be like everybody else. And then that history always comes in, right? By a history teacher. It always comes in for me because when we used to run shit and we had our own shit, governments didn't exist. Countries didn't exist. I don't think we really poised for that. I don't think we really poised for hierarchies. And we may have to go to those older systems because we basically pretty hard-headed. We need like very strict rules and a kingdom and husbandry and dowry systems suit us better. We have definitive consequences. I don't think we really fit for the modern world. I think we really fit for the old world of having the integrity to, even though it's crazy watching what's his name take off and all that stupid shit going on. We more poised for a kingdom than a country. Yep. For somebody to make a decision, it's not gonna work.
They're too free. I know that's everybody don't deserve freedom.
That's true. Freedom. They proved it.
That's facts.
24,114,000 children murdered in 60 years. And that's not even true. That's me giving it to 1960. It's really since 1973. From 1991 to 2017, the self-deletion rate for our children increased by 73%.
If you look at this the country as a whole, it doesn't work. Like you gotta, if you really just think about it, bro, you have a collective of citizens that's voting for shit that they literally don't even read about. Like in California, they literally voted for a gas tax to stay, and then complained about how high the fucking gas was.
That was just like when they was complaining about Gavin and then voted to keep his ass in place.
That's what I'm saying. Like, well, no. So the thing about
Y'all
California,
kind of need that gas tax though, because y'all just got too many programs they got to support in California.
No, we actually had a gas tax.
Gas tax is too high.
So we had a gas tax.
Too high.
We had a gas tax, and then they decided to use that because the money was supposed to go to the roads and shit. They took that money, used it on something else, and then applied another gas tax without even.
And you know what?
And then they put
but have y'all seen all the programs y'all have that y'all got to support?
But hold on now. Cali always doing that. They charging their residents money and not using it for what it's for. Okay, for instance, in 2020, during a freaking pandemic, at the end of the year, Cali bragged about all the money they collected in child support. But you know what else they also stated? $430 million. They basically took a good portion of that money and shoveled it out to other programs. So I'm like, hold on. You sit up here collecting child support money. It's not going to the kids. You had enough that you needed to throw it off into other programs that aren't benefiting the kids. Cali always doing that. They always collecting money and never putting it in the programs that they're designed for.
Well, we can fix that problem. People can fix that problem with child support. Why are you paying child support?
Oh, I agree with that.
You know what I'm saying? Like that could be fixed outside of the government.
That's true. I keep telling
not
people.
As long as you got a woman running down to a courthouse talking about I need state assistance.
That's it. That's all the government gonna say is I ain't know none of y'all business till this girl came down here.
Right.
That's why niggas gotta be on that daddy dom shit.
Yep.
No,
they better learn how to do what the Trump family did. The Trump family, when they divorced their wives and they turned into baby mamas, they put them all up in Trump housing, said, y'all gonna stay here rent free. We're gonna take care of all your little bills, but you're gonna play nice. You're gonna come to all the family functions. You're gonna act like a damn family. And all those women stayed in line. But you can't make those decisions if you don't have no power.
Amen.
No, it's so cold out here. She didn't gotta go down there. Like my first daughter's mom, only she applied for what was it Medicaid, I think? Medicaid or some shit. And they just fired up a case. And she told them, no, I don't want it. And they said, we don't care. Like, when I cussed these people out about 75 times, we finally ended up going to court. And the judge is like, so I understand y'all have an agreement already. Like, yeah. He's like, so why are you guys down here? I said, well, I've been asking these motherfuckers on the phone that the whole time. And then this is the coldest part though. Then he tells her, so you sure you want to do this agreement? And I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? Like, what? It's insane how this shit works, bro. Like, I mean,
that happened to me, but she was gonna get paid less than. So she left alone and let the informer. Yeah. So I definitely know about that one. But I know everybody not in that position too.
Yeah, exactly. Like by the time we got done, they put my shit to like $0 a month or whatever. But I'm just like the shit is wild though, bro. Like just because the way I was looking at it was, see, we happen to be living with each other when that happened. But I'm like, if that had happened when we was apart, right? Imagine what would have happened. Because our show would have been a hard line. Like, bitch, you got me fucked up. You know, because would I really have believed that they just went and opened this case without her? Like, hell no. I thought she had been on some shit.
They would have said you abandoned them in your own house.
Yeah. I just want to know if Lucki was serious in that comment.
No, she put the LOL out there.
Oh, okay. Okay.
That's hella funny.
Too many. Look at half of us be locked up.
She be on Palmer Channel. She already know she joking. All right, so my take on the Candance Owens thing is, listen, it's an old adage, right? The old thing we heard. We've been told. That's why I said what I said about the kingdom. Look before you leap. And that again, the old other shit is the grass always green on the other side. Just because you see men with stuff don't mean that you want to be in men's position. Like they always are begging for attention or something or some indirect shit because it seemed like men got something. But then when you get in that position, even men have to find itself amongst other men. You don't really want that. You don't know what it takes. You don't want to get like what trips me out about both sides, male and female, is that y'all want a lot of stuff, but you're not gonna get up an hour earlier and go to sleep an hour later for 18 months. Right? You don't ever want to do the work first. You don't ever want to have to pay the extra person at the end of the month or add the extra service to be able to get that stuff in. People just want extra but don't want to pay extra. So you got these females who grown up in TV and the extra this, the extra that. You want fries with that type of culture. And you get this shit and now you undermining it by being here and going, I don't get enough because that other girl getting more. It's like, when does it stop? The other girl can get more because she just said he looked at her a certain way. So now she get to be home and get paid. Like, that's what that shit really be about. You don't really, not to say, what is it called? What is it, essay? Yeah, essay happens at work. It happens at work. But you made it so contentious that, like she said, these employers don't want to hire you. You know what I mean? Then you're missing out because it's like, why do I want to take the risk? Or they're going to hire you and they're not going to be there. Then you're going to have some foreign management there, you know what I'm saying, that don't really care. It's going to make your job bullshit, give you crazy ass hours and shit. And you're not going to be a part of nothing organic. And then you're going to do the fatal thing, and that's take work home. And as a mom, you know what I'm saying? And then now your children are working. Because they got to pay for your attitude. So it's like you said, Tommy. I'm with that because race traders they make me sick. But that topic exists independent of her, so I look at it like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
All those feminist talking points, they've been destroyed. All of them. That's why I'm moving on.
I think as a whole, just this democracy. I mean, let's just be real. How many times y'all have been on the ballot and voted for a motherfucker you absolutely had no idea who this nigga was? And every time I go vote, I do. That's not how this shit's supposed to work, but that's the reality of how it works. You know what I'm saying? And just think about how crazy that is we as the citizens are putting laws into effect and putting people into power. And we haven't even sat down and read this shit because we're so busy working and taking care. Because I'm not blaming them. Because we got a lot of shit to do. We taking care of kids. That's why I laugh at people that on Facebook and these motherfuckers act like they foreign relation experts and they did. Like, how do y'all got the time to read all this shit and then raise your family and go to work? Why ain't enough time in the day?
But hold on, Tommy.
Go ahead.
I disagree about the amount of time people have. People are horrible at time management. And I feel like a lot of it's about making time for what you prioritize. And as far as researching who these candidates are or taking time to read, I always say, if you can Google how many grams are in an ounce, you can Google some real freaking information. Because people be Googling all types of stupid shit that don't benefit them a lot.
The problem is, even when you Google, you have to Google and then you have to decipher what's bullshit, what's not, yada, yada, yada. But what I'm saying is, most people in this country, let's be realistic. If you're making a decent amount of money, you're probably working about 12 hours a day. You come home to your kids, that's probably another 3 or 4 hours if you're really active with them. That leaves you, that's 15 hours. That leaves you with what, 8 hours to get some rest or whatever. So, again, maybe you use your weekend or something, but I'm just saying how many people are really sitting down and doing that. And just realistically, when they sent me that ballot book, that motherfucker sat on my dining room table. I had other shit to do. It ain't that I ain't necessarily want to go do that shit, but first of all, you gotta think that. But hold on, fuck the citizenry. The fucking politicians don't read the bills that they sign.
That's a fact. That shit was dumb. That's the stupidest shit
I've
ever heard.
You saw that on I forgot. It was one of Michael Moore's documentaries, but he walked up and the congressman told me, he said, "Let me tell you a secret. We don't read this shit. It's too many pages."
Yeah, about 2,000 pages.
That's intentional. That's intentional.
32 pages or some shit like that. They ain't got enough. It just. But again, just think about how crazy that is. that we're putting into law shit that damn near nobody is really even reading, except for maybe, I guess, the motherfucker that's writing this shit out or typing it out. But outside of that, most of the people that's putting it into effect, whether it's the congressperson or the citizens voting for it, we ain't even reading this shit. I remember the first time I heard of an earmark was when Obama was in office. And it blew my mind that shit was legal. Like, they talked about it as if it wasn't nothing wrong with it. An earmark. You sneak some shit into a bill that has nothing to do with that bill so it can pass too. That's the definition of fucking illegal to me. Like, what are we talking about? And it's common practice amongst them. That shit is nuts to me. They just call it pork. Like, what the fuck? That shit is nuts when you start just, really knowing how this shit operate. It's mind blowing sometimes.
Natasha says, by the time it gets to bill signing time, they've talked the thing through several drafts though. But yeah, you know what? But I ain't gonna say just the Senate, but when they're actually talking about it, it's really no different from YouTube. They pick certain talking points. They pick certain popular things that these attorneys essentially have picked out. Whatever got the most buzz or whatever. And then it's like some formal proceedings, and then it's over.
Oh, she said that's a process up there in Canada.
Oh, in Canada?
Yeah,
it still follows the parliament over in English. It's still the same system.
Yeah, it's like he said. I'm sure they talk it over, but like he said, it's gonna be the highlights. It's not gonna be the gritty details. And like I said, they hide a lot of shit in them gritty details. You know, it's just crazy to me that you run a country like that's why Farrakhan told George Wallace he's living in one of the most corrupt countries in the world, because it is. Just the fact that just think about these two things that when I really started paying attention to politics, it blew my mind. One was the what they call pork belly spending or pork or earmarks, and the second one was lobbyists. How the fuck is that legal? Like, that is nuts to me that's just flat out legal. Just, oh yeah, it's a lobbyist. Like, what? That's like a policeman saying, oh yeah, that's just a dope dealer. Like, what the fuck? Like, that shit, it's crazy to me, but it's business as usual. And us as the citizens, we just look at it and go, oh, okay. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's just nuts to me, bro. Like, when you really just, bro.
At the end of the day, it makes sense for us to be the criminal because it distracts from them. That's what matters. These niggas is just like I always tell people, like niggas that sell dope. Like if you really want to sell drugs, go start a McDonald's. Let's go start a McDonald's. That's modern drug dealing nowadays. And I say all that to say, welcome to the world class. We need to start focusing on things that are operating at a world-class level, at a high level, man. They not playing no games with us.
Facts.
Not playing any games with us. And we need to get this thing back to a genius level and start acting like royals and move forward, because they're not gonna wait, like stop the race and let us catch up. We just gotta start a few races ahead of them. And that's just pretty much it. We gotta hurry up and just start at a very, very high level and keep it pushing. And then, like I always was taught, ready, fire, aim. Get ready, fire, and then get your accuracy together and start responding to stuff that makes sense. So I appreciate Lucki for bringing that question up. Bringing that I'm about to say article, bringing that clip up. It was a quick little YouTube short because. It starts a conversation because of the person that's involved. I'm not big on politics. My only position for politics is let's groom somebody, and that we know are going to be in our best interest, and whatever fits Democrat or Republic at the time, which more than likely should be Republic, and move from there. We got to stop. We got to start reading. That's why I've came into this space talking about etymology, parsing, and syntax. What you would do with that bill, we would call syntax. Because I got to figure out what you're saying. I got to really process what you're saying. So syntax is sentence structure. That's why I hate, and I've done these things. Like when he's talking about earmarking, I've done these things where you can actually syntax the some literature and find out what they're really saying and the shit that they're missing. Like we've done that shit already. I go through the Bible and syntax it. That's how I know it's a whole entire Bible within a Bible. We've done this shit. And I be trying to tell people stuff that's not little stuff. Etymology, parsing, and syntax will put you in a whole different stratosphere. It's not just etymology where you're looking up the origin of word, not just parse, which is really parse, where you're looking at the part of speech, not just syntax when it's the sentence structure, where you put all of those things together. Stuff like that don't scare me. I know I can go through one of those bills and I'm gonna find out that all that stuff is legislative. So if it's legislative, it's just commercial. So if it's commercial, it's really some type of arbitrary. It's really controlled by an arbiter. So it's not judicial and it's not executive. So those things mean something in law. So those something I can dismiss. They can put all the whatever alphabet shit. They can do all of that shit. That shit don't mean anything. I can go to another jurisdiction where it don't bother me and still be able to get a transaction that I want. So that stuff I don't be fazed by it, and I don't really care. I don't have to focus on politics because I already know what they're gonna do. They're gonna bind everything down to a commercial bill. That's why it's called a bill, and because it's not law, it's a policy. And who's gonna enforce the policy? Police. Police and policy is in the same family words for a reason, and it's just that. It's just that simple. Reading is fundamental. Reading is comprehension, not enunciating words. So I may mess up a word here, mess up a word there, but put a bill in front of me, put a law in front of me. Watch me dust their ass off. I'm Michael LeBron James Jordan when he put them words up.
Golly.
I'm all
that is true. That's why you be saying if you really break down a lot of these bills, you see it's for other things other than what it's titled for. And that's the crazy part, that the average person is not going to read it.
Not going to read it. You can, once you read it, you start to seeing what I can dismiss. It's like, okay, this part. Just like we were taught in high school. Like, how do you write a letter? The title, the body, and then the closing argument. So it's set up the same way. The bills are set up the same way. And like, even when even on this channel, right, when we was looking at Lexie contract, I'm like, I don't like contracts written like that. I need to have it put in A, B, C, and then I need to have 1, 2, 3. I need to have subsections because that's how my brain has been trained to look at laws, because that's how the Bible is set up, because that's where they got it from. How laws are set up is how the Bible is set up or how the Quran is set up. Once I know your structure, I'm good. So y'all should always look at the Bible like you would a dictionary or law. So niggas be talking about religion. I'm like, okay, if I'm going to John, right? What does John mean? John means Johanna. That's where the word John comes from. It means favorite one. That's why the first verse is, in the beginning was the word, and the word was with God, and the word was God. So you have favor because you understand the word. And then you look at what word means. And you kind of just break that shit down just like that. And that's syntaxing. Like, you have to do syntaxing to understand anything. So I go through a bill that they write 2,000 words, 2,000 pages, 4,000 pages, and I just syntax it. I don't need that word. I don't need that sentence. I don't need that. And I'll start cutting shit out. It's the same shit that you go watch speed readers. They don't really read everything. They just kind of it's like a box, and they just skim through words, and they look for, they basically are syntaxing. They looking, because it's English, they looking for subject and action. That's all they're doing, is picking up those words, and then their brain is receiving all the information, and they just processing the shit. It's so fucking, there's so many skills you can pick up, bro. It blows my mind, man.
That's so much. I take my exams like that. I read the answers first, and then go read the question. Mm-hmm. And once I started doing that, them tests started looking quite different. Yeah.
Neuroscience. I talk to people about neuroscience. I haven't really done videos on it, but neuroscience, neurology, how the brain works, neocortex, neurological pathways, dendrites, axioms. You know what I'm saying? How the brain works. It's dope as fuck. It's cheating. Get the book, Power Your Subconscious Mind by Dr. Joseph Murphy. How to program your brain in, like, I always say 90 days. Shit's dope, man. But they plan that. So I say all that shit to say they'll put 2,000 words in a bill and hide some shit under, because they know you're not going to read. And they know if you did start to get that 2,000 page bill, you can't read no damn way. Even if you try to read, you can't read because you don't know etymology, parsing, and syntax, because that same type of bill is the same type of bill that went into giving us that bullshit public education that made sure we can't read. Like when you go to 4th grade, 5th grade, your first 10 words should turn into no less than 500 words. Because you need to look up each word in that. Each and every word, and then that's going to take you to a whole nother language. You'll go through German, you'll go through Latin, you're going to go through French. That's 3 different languages you're supposed to be learning right now. You really had no reason to learn Spanish. This shit dope as fuck. So I want to look at this other video. You back, Tommy?
Yep.
Yeah, you flexing with the
I got a question right quick. It's a little off the wall, but since they ain't teaching cursive no more, can kids read cursive?
I would imagine they can't.
I've been saying you can. Hey, if we all start writing in cursive again, they wouldn't be able to understand shit.
Because that's what made me think of that when World Class just said that. I was like, it's gonna get to the point where it's gonna be such a gap, and then we just write everything in cursive that we don't want the average person to, the newer generations to read or understand.
And you know what? I asked that a while back too, but I asked if they don't know cursive, do they have a signature?
That's a good question. Damn, I didn't even thought about that. You know what I'm stuck on? The fact that I had researched and found that when you write in cursive, 2,000 extra neurons go off in your brain when you're writing in cursive versus print.
Yeah, I think there's emotion in it.
And I'm
that's why
you look at back in the day, those writers, those philosophers, they wrote in cursive.
Right.
But Shakespeare and all of those, like regular, even lawyers, doctors, judges, they all wrote in cursive. So it's like it's intentional to make people stupid. So that's a good question, bro.
I just texted my daughter to see if they teaching her. I swear I thought I seen her writing in cursive before. I'm gonna see if she said.
I'm gonna just teach my son. I'm gonna have to
because I had to teach mine because they stopped. So my 15-year-old, they didn't teach him cursive. I had to teach him myself.
Oh no, she said they teaching her.
Good job.
Shout out to Cali. Y'all be talking all that shit. Nah.
No, that's for that gas tax. That gas tax.
Bang, 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 bang.
All right. I'm sorry, I got lost in a train of thought of just all that goodness I just heard. Washed.
They would be fools to resist my divine power.
His death was a necessary loss. Soon I will have a new apprentice, one far younger and more powerful.
Remember, when a king is loved as I am, much can be accomplished.
We didn't do this because we like you. We did this because we are you.
Boom, the world class.